What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'll be breaking down all the fights for UFC Des Moines, and that is Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Now, first, before we get to that, please hit that like button for me and subscribe if you are new or if you just haven't yet. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so you know when I put out my videos and when we go live on Wednesdays. If I do anything crazy on the weekends or anything else, you will get notified. But last night was, what was it? UFC Kansas City, and it was a fun card. A lot of finishes, some craziness as always, some weird fight performances from some fighters, especially Michel Pereira. I could break that fight down for an hour if you want me to, but I'm not going to. But that was not Michel Pereira. I don't know who that was. Someone took over Michel Pereira's body, and he did not fight at all. Weirdest thing ever. I hope he was injured because that's the only excuse I will give him, because he looked like absolute crap. But let's not get into that. Let's get into the good stuff. The good stuff is I went 11-3 on my picks. I lost on Romero, Castaneda, and Austin Pereira, obviously. And for my bets, I ended up winning plus 2.11 units. That's 4 winning cards in a row. That's 8 out of the last 10 cards winning. We're on a little roll here. Unfortunately, we did not hit the easy money and the beer money parlay this week for the Defender Unit show. But we will get back on track this week for UFC Des Moines. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And let's get right into it. I think we have 12 fights, and let's start off right here with a banger. We got Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. And let me get my notes up here and get started. But yeah, let's go. Miller, super aggressive fighter to a fault almost. Her striking is wild. Her grappling is wild. She goes for submissions over position all the time. She falls off the back and all that good stuff. But she is pretty dangerous because she's too wild and aggressive. Okay, takedowns, cardio, little bit iffy, especially in her last fight. She is pretty durable. She is still a little green or a little raw, if you want to say, but like I said, she can be dangerous early. And then you have Petrovic, good grappler, solid striking. She is more well-rounded than Julia, I would say, but she is more so a grappler. Good takedowns, good submissions too. She really hasn't fought the greatest competition. The last fight I believe she did fight was Jamie Lynn Horth. It was a split decision technically, but I did think Jamie Lynn won that pretty. I mean, it was a 29-28 win. It wasn't like a domination from Jamie, but I did think she won, but she shouldn't have went to split. Yeah, interesting fight to just start the night off here, but I'm going to go with Petrovic. I just think she's the better overall MMA fighter. I like her striking a little bit better. She's a little more technical with her grappling and striking. But Juliana Miller, I mean, you can make a case for her to win, but I just don't trust her. I can't trust her. I mean, it's hard to trust Ivana as well, but I would trust her way more than I trust Juliana. She's only had 6 fights in her career, pro level anyways, and she's 3-3 in those against very low level competition. I think Ivana wins this one. I'll say I kind of think she gets this one done because I don't trust Juliana Miller's cardio after round 1. She goes too crazy. She doesn't conserve any energy. Her last fight was very weird. It was against Luana Santos. Yeah, I'm going to say maybe like a second or third round finish for Ivana. Wouldn't be shocked again if it goes a decision because it is a lower level women's MMA fight. But we thought that too with Edwards and Chandler last week. And Edwards got that KO in round 1. So take it for how you want to. But give me Petrovic to win. I'll say submission. I don't know. No, I don't know. A finish. Let's go with that. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Thomas Jefferson Petersen versus Dontel D1 Mays. My guy, your guy, everyone's guy. Just joking. Mays, okay striker. He's very low volume, though. He does have power in his hands if he lands early. He can wrestle, but he hasn't shown us any wrestling at all. Okay takedown defense. He's just okay. He's just okay for a heavyweight, and that's not good to say for the heavyweight division. He's just okay. You want to be decent. At least he's just okay. He's pretty durable, though. He'll tough it out. He does slow down as the fight goes on as well. But we got Thomas Petersen, solid wrestler, good striking too, good boxing, pretty good takedowns, good ground control if he good top control and good ground and pound if he does get the fight to the mat. He's on top. He can get submissions too, but not really like the submission guy. Durable, he got knocked out in his last fight against Shamil Gaziev in the first round, but Shamil is pretty dangerous. I think he's more dangerous than Dontel, but Dontel does have power to knock people out. Petersen, I don't, he can knock people out, but it's going to take a while. He doesn't have that like one punch knockout power, but this is a weird fight. I think the line is a little wide. And I don't know if it's because I'm a D1 Dontel Mays guy, but I'm still picking Petersen to win. I think he's just going to be a little bit more active. I think he's to be the one pushing forward, moving Dontel back. Dontel slows down a little bit more than Thomas Petersen. But, I mean, early on, if Mays can catch Petersen on his chin, I mean, he just got knocked out. How long ago was this? 2 months ago. Almost 3 months ago, he got knocked out. So maybe if he just touches that chin a little bit, maybe he goes down a little easier than expected. But still going to pick Thomas Petersen. I'm going to say by decision. Look at the overs in this fight, especially if it's set at 1.5. Probably won't, but you never know. But give me Petersen to win by decision. This one's a pretty tough one. Not a tough one, but it's a tough one to bet. I don't like the odds. I don't trust Petersen at minus, 250 or higher or something like that. Almost want to do dog or pass on this, but I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to fall for it. That's my heart talking. I always go with the gut. Trust the gut. Don't trust the heart, especially in the MMA fighting. Ain't going to get you nowhere. Next one, Gaston Bolanos versus Quang Lee. And in this one, Bolanos, solid striker, good power in his hands. His takedown defense isn't the greatest, but he's got a very good get-up game. He doesn't really have the greatest submission defense either, but luckily he's not really fighting a grappler, so that's good for him. Durable, good volume. Like I said, good power too. Quang Lee, also a good striker, not super technical though. He likes to push forward. He's got good kicks. He likes to kind of get into brawls a little bit. He can wrestle, but he's primarily a striker. He got knocked out in the third round in his last fight. How long ago was that? About 5 months ago. So, interesting fight, striker versus striker. I like Bolanos better as a striker, personally. I think he's a little bit more technical. I think he's got just as much power, if not maybe more than Quang Lee. He doesn't have to worry about wrestling and grappling and submissions or anything like that. This is going to be his fight, kind of fight that he likes. And I don't think Quang Lee is all that great. Yeah, he could be a fun fighter at times, but I just think Bolanos is a little bit more technical, a little bit better experience as well. And so give me Bolanos to win. I'm going to say knockout. I think he finds the knockout, second round, maybe third, maybe later in the fight, like Long was able to in the third round. And yeah, I'm going to go with Bolanos. I'm kind of confident in this one, actually. Weirdly, I think this is the fight to pick Bolanos in. I don't know, just me. Next one. Marina Rodriguez versus Jillian Robertson. Interesting fight. Rodriguez, very good striker. Okay power. Good Muay Thai. Good knees in the clinch. Good elbows. Good counter striker. Her takedown defense, though, is not great. She does have pretty decent submission defense, but she's fighting a very, very good grappler with very, very good submissions. And Jillian, as I said, very good grappler, good submissions. Striking is just okay. It is kind of a work in progress. It's getting a little bit better as I am seeing in some of her fights when I go back and watch some. Not to say that it's amazing, but it's getting better. Her takedowns seem to be getting a little bit better, especially in this division. Strawweight, she was struggling a crap ton at flyweight, but this division, she seems a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, so that's helping her out. Not to say that her technique for wrestling is great, but the strength is helping out in her size. She is hittable on the feet, which does worry me here too. If she can't get takedowns, I think it's going to be Rodriguez all day, piecing her up at range because she is pretty. She's got the reach advantage, I believe. 2 inches of reach and 1 inch of height, so it's nothing crazy, but Gonna go with Jillian. I'm not like super confident. I'm confident, but not super confident. I'm just worried that if Jillian can't get this fight to the mat, she's gonna lose 100%. But I do think Jillian will eventually get this fight to the mat. I think it will go to decision. It'll be a little bit closer than maybe some people think, but Jillian's always going to be live for a submission if she gets this fight to the mat. I mean, she can stay on top and she's got good top control. If she gets somebody down, they aren't getting back up, so she will win that round. I just don't know if she's going to be able to for 2 rounds. So I think she does. I'm just not super confident. Maybe later in the week, if you come by and watch us on Defending Units on Wednesday nights, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I feel a little bit more confident. But right now, about a medium confidence level with Jillian. I think she wins by decision. I don't think she finds a finish. If she does, it'll be like 3rd round finish, I believe. But interesting fight here. And also, Rodriguez is 38 years old. She's getting up there in age, so she's getting up to that magic number. So Jillian's almost 10 years younger. So got to go with that as well. Next one, Ryan Loder versus Asmat Bekoev. Hopefully I said that correctly. If not, yeah, it is what it is. I can't say names to save my life, especially the Russian ones. Azamat's a well-rounded guy. He's got solid striking, good wrestling, solid grappling too, good takedown defense, good cardio. Yeah, well-rounded guy. And a lot of fight experience too. He's got about over 20 fights. And then you got Ryan Loder, very, very good wrestler. He was a D1 wrestler. Good takedowns, very good top control. Doesn't really go for submissions when he's on top, but he's got good ground and pound. Doesn't really strike too much. He uses that more so to set up his takedowns. Like I said, he works when he's on top. He's got good ground and pound. He doesn't just lay and pray or anything like that, like a Toro Finney. So yeah, this is the kind of the battle of the wrestlers, if you want to say, but I think Azamat is going to have the better striking. I mean, that's not a hot take by any means. The line to me could be a little wide here, but I am going to go with Azamat. I think he gets the one done. I just think he's the better overall fighter. Again, more well-rounded, better striking, and wrestling. Who knows? He could have just as good as wrestling as Ryan Loder. So we'll see. I'm not running to the window to bet Azamat by any means at minus. I think it's around minus 300 if I'm not mistaken or so. But yeah, I think he wins. I'm gonna say by decision. I think there's gonna be a pretty decent amount of wrestling and defending takedowns in this one. And if not, Azamat's gonna be better on the feet. So he should be winning that striking exchange. So if there's not any wrestling going on, Azamat's gonna win this fight very easily. He maybe even could get a knockdown or knockout, but I think it's gonna be by decision. It's gonna be a lot of wrestling. Like I said, it's gonna kill the time. So maybe look at the overs in this fight. It could be a kind of a sneaky parlay piece depending on what the price is, but I like Azamat to win by decision. Next one, Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. So we got Santos, okay striker. She's got good volume, good in the clinch. Her takedowns are decent if she does go for some wrestling, but she does not have the greatest takedown defense. She can be controlled on her back. That does worry me in this fight too. But we got Miesha Tate also. Solid wrestling, good grappling, okay striking, not the greatest, can be very hittable on the feet, but she is very tough. She is durable. She's 38 years old. She's getting up to that magic number. Yana is 35. The reach advantage will be on the Yana side. They're about the same height. Yeah, this is an interesting close fight. Miesha hasn't fought in about a year and a half. Yana, it's been about 8 months. This is a tough one for me. I can see Yana winning this fight. I don't know what Miesha's going to look like now. I'm going with the gut. I'm going to go with Miesha Tate. I think if she can get the wrestling going, especially early, I think she'll be okay to maybe bank the first 2 rounds. And then maybe tire out Yana a little bit. But if she cannot get the wrestling going early, I think she's going to lose this fight. And that's what worries me about the pick. But I am going to stick with Miesha Tate just because, like I said, I think she can get Yana down early. Maybe tire her out a little bit. And then her striking won't be as good. But if it's going to be played out on the feet again, I think Yana's going to win. but Misha is durable. I think she'll push through. She'll eat a couple shots. She'll get to the body and clinch up and then get the takedowns because Yana's takedown defense is not good. So that's what worries me for Yana. So give me Misha Tate to win by decision. Not confident. I'll tell you that. I'm going to stay away from this one. Not going to bet it. I don't like the over. I don't like the under. I can see someone finishing someone here. It could be decision. It could be a split. Too much variance here. So give me Misha by decision. But like I said, staying away. Next one, Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. The battle of the UFC ex-UFC people coming back into the UFC. Both these guys are coming back after they got cut. So we all know who Jeremy Stephens is. Powerful striker. He loves to get in the brawls. He pushes forward like crazy. He goes for the finishes early. He's very durable. Hasn't been in the UFC in a long time. He's been in PFL, bare knuckle boxing, all that stuff. But he's here in Des Moines. I know he's from Des Moines. So maybe that's why they're getting him back on this card for Mason Jones, who's also making his second UFC debut. He's a well-rounded guy. He's got good striking, good wrestling, good takedown defense. He's durable, good volume, good cardio. Like, he's good everywhere. I think he's super well-rounded. Let's see. He's never lost by finish. So that's something that you can look at there because Jeremy's going to be going for it like he always does early, and then he kind of fades. I like Mason Jones here. I think he's more well-rounded. I think he can use his wrestling to take down Jeremy if he gets too aggressive, especially later in the fights when Jeremy starts to slow down a little bit if he doesn't get him out of there in the first round. But I don't think he will. Mason Jones is pretty tough. He's pretty durable. And Mason Jones wins this fight. I'm going to say by decision. Jeremy, he's tough. He's durable. He's been knocked out 3 times and subbed 5. So maybe a sneaky sub could be in play here late for Mason Jones. Maybe with takedowns, a lot of takedowns, a lot of control time. He finds the head and arm choke, something like that. But yeah, give me Mason Jones win. I'm going to say by decision, though. But I'm going to look at the prop for sub just in case and see what that is when that comes out. That could be a little sneaky, little fun parlay piece. Not parlay, but long shot parlay piece, if you will. All right, next one. Cameron Smotherman versus Sidey. And this is an interesting fight here. We got Smotherman. This is a solid striker. He's got good combinations, stays at range very well. Okay, takedown defense. I don't think he's going to have to worry too much about the takedowns. He doesn't really have a ground game or grappling. He doesn't really wrestle too, but I mean, he's not the worst. Like, he's not a fish out of water, but he's just primarily a striker. Decent takedown defense. And then we got Sidey, who's also a striker, good striker. He's got power in his hands, good grappling if he does want to, but he also prefers to be a striker. So I do think this fight will stay on the feet. Takedown defense is just okay. He's pretty durable. He does get hit a lot though. He doesn't really, he kind of has that like tall man's defense where he just pushes his head back like that and hopes for the best. So sometimes he can get rocked a little bit. This is a close fight. CD is going to be a little bit taller, 2 inches, have a little bit more reach, 3 inches, but Sidey seems to fight very close all the time. His last 2 fights in the UFC, decision splits. And actually, I think those splits should be flipped because the one that he lost by split, I thought he won. And the one that he won by split, I thought he lost. So, I mean, it works out in the long run, but those fights were close. And he was looking good in one round and then he started slowing down. And then he looked terrible in one of the rounds. And then he started doing better later on. So, he's kind of a wild card. I don't know what you're getting from him, but I know what I'm going to be getting from Cameron. He's the same kind of fighter in almost every one of his fights, whether he wins or loses. And I'm going to go with the dog here. I'm going to go with the baby face killer. I think that's his nickname in Cameron. This is a close fight though. So we'll see what happens. I just have a feeling Smotherman's going to win this fight. I liked him on the Dana White Contender Series when even though he lost to Grigoriou or whatever his name was, which wasn't a great look because that guy's not that great. But he didn't win the contract, obviously, because he lost. But then he rattled off like 4 wins, and now he's back. Or 3 wins, and now he's back. And he won against Jake Hadley, which isn't a bad win. Garrett Armfield was a pretty good win from Syria, but like I said, I thought Armfield won that fight personally, but I mean, not robbery, but anything. But give me Smotherman to win by decision. I like the overs in this fight. Both guys are pretty durable. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dog. I like it. Next one, Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Get my notes up here. Knocked him out. Montel Jackson's a well-rounded fighter. He has solid wrestling, which we really haven't seen all that much. It's good takedown defense. He's got a good striking. He's got good power in his hands. Good 1-2s down the middle. Sometimes he can be a little low volume, but lately he's been looking pretty good. Not gonna lie, I've been watching a couple of those fights back. I'm like, dang. Yeah, but he doesn't have to worry about any wrestling or grappling in this fight unless he wants to, because Daniel Marcos is a solid striker. He does have okay power, nothing crazy, good takedown defense, solid cardio. Some of his fights, he has a lot of volume, and some of his fights, he's very low volume. I know he's been on a winning streak here. He's 17-0, but I really believe he lost against Davy Grant. The Yanez fight was very close as well. He's fighting very close in some of these fights, and I know who the better overall fighter is, and it's Montel Jackson. I don't care. He gonna win. I'm just gonna continue to pick against Daniel Marcos because I don't see how he's winning. Not to say that he's a bad fighter, but Montel Jackson's better. I think he's got more power. I think he's got, if he gets in trouble, I think he can wrestle. He's going to be a little bit taller, 3 inches of height, 7 inches of reach. I like that. He throws straight punches down the middle, and that's going to be great. Good jab. And Marcos is going to have a little bit of trouble, I believe, trying to get inside in the pocket. So give me Jackson to win. I'm going to say decision because Marcos is pretty durable. He has been rocked a couple times, but not like anything crazy or knockdowns, but he's gotten hurt a little bit. But I mean, Jackson can totally hurt him, but I don't know if he's going to be able to find a KO. So, but give me Jackson by decision. Pretty confident in this one, actually. Next one we got is going to be Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. Interesting. Both guys are 38 years old. Let's put that out there. 38. Ponzinibbio is a solid striker. He's got good power in his hands. I would say he's pretty technical. Sometimes he's a little hittable at times, but nothing crazy. He's pretty durable. Doesn't really grapple or wrestle that much, but he can. I like his pressure and pace. He puts on a good. He likes to push forward. I think he's pretty dangerous for being 38 years old. I think he knocked out Carlston Harris in the 3rd round. I like that. It's a good look. Daniel Rodriguez, though, he's a very good striker as well. Okay power, nothing crazy. Maybe early, that's when his best chance to get a finish is. Kind of slows down as the fight goes on. So that does worry me if you are picking Daniel Rodriguez, because I know who doesn't slow down in fights, and that's Santiago. Even at 38. I mean, like I said, he got a 3rd round KO against Carlston Harris. Also got a 3rd round KO against Alex Morono when he was losing that fight. He lost the first 2 rounds, and he came back and got a 3rd round KO. Daniel Rodriguez slows down like a ton in the 3rd round. So Santiago is going to be live for a finish, even if he's losing if he lost the first 2 rounds. I like weirdly confident. Again, going Ponzinibbio. I'm going to say, I want to say he gets a KO, but Daniel Rodriguez only been KO'd once. And I think that sub, if I'm not mistaken, was like a club and sub. But I'm going to go Santiago to win I'm going to go by KO. I feel it. My gut says it. Maybe 2nd or 3rd round KO. I just think he has a little bit more oomph, if you want to say. I trust that more than what I see from Daniel Rodriguez. He slows down. He looks good early, then he slows down. Santiago starts out good, and then he ends the same way. And I like that. I think this is a close fight either way, but that's the one thing that I'm looking at and I'm seeing is the cardio. And I trust Ponzinibbio as a dog. So there you go. I like it. Weirdly confident. Going with Ponzinibbio one last ride. Not one last ride, but both guys are 38. So there's no age difference here. No one's younger. I just think he's looking a little bit better. I mean, say it. Put it in the comments below if I'm right or wrong on that one. I don't know, but I'm weirdly confident going with it. And then we got the co-main. I believe it's going to be Reinier de Ridder versus Bo Nickal, everyone's favorite wrestler. De Ridder is a solid grappler, okay takedowns. I mean, he's got pretty good takedowns, not okay. Good submissions, very good submissions. Striking is meh, nothing crazy. Rather grapple, wrestle. Definitely wants to get the fight to the mat. That's his bread and butter. And speaking of that, Bo Nickal, who I just said, is a very good wrestler. He's got good submissions too. Good grappling. His striking seems to be getting a touch better every fight. He's not the greatest striker too. But he's pretty durable. He waits. He's kind of patient, sometimes a little bit too much. And this is an interesting fight. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. If it plays out on the feet, because both guys are good grappler wrestlers, and we see a striking fight, or do we see an awesome wrestling grappling match here against two guys that are very good? I'm going to go with Bo Nickal because I think he's going to dictate where this fight goes. If he wants this fight to go to the mat, I think he'll shoot some takedowns. I think he's the better wrestler, obviously. I think he's got pretty good takedown defense. But he's going to have to be careful, though, because de Ridder is very good on the mat. And on the feet, I think it's very close. But I think in a close fight, if Bo Nickal is losing the striking, he's going to wrestle. And I think that's how he can come back and win. De Ridder is going to need to potentially outstrike Nickal to win and or get a submission. And I don't think he's going to be able to get a submission. Nickal can win. I think he can win by decision, too. I don't think he's going to be able to. Maybe he finishes de Ridder. I don't know. I don't think so. He's never been subbed. De Ridder's never been subbed. Yeah, I got to go Bo Nickal by decision here. If the line's set at 1.5, I'm going to look at that over 1.5. I think the over 1.5 hits all day on this one. I think it might be a slow-paced striking fight early, and then maybe round 2 hits. Maybe somebody shoots a takedown, and I think that'll be the 2.5 minutes to sweat that. You'll be fine. So if it's set at 1.5, I'm going to look at that for sure, but don't really love the odds for Bo Nickal. I do think he wins by decision. That's all I got. Yeah. And then we got the main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Corey Sandhagen is a very good striker. He's a little bit unorthodox. He's super tall for the division. Not super tall, but he's pretty tall. He's going to have a 6-inch height, only 2 inches of reach, which is a little weird to me, but it is what it is. He throws a lot of volume. He's got good elbows, flying knees. He's good grappler. He can takedown defense is just okay, but like I said, he's got good grappling. He's durable, good cardio for 5 rounds. Don't have to worry about that. And then you got Figgy, who's a solid striker himself. He's always going to be dangerous with his power in his hands. He always has some. He has good wrestling and good grappling too. Good submissions, good guillotine. He moved up from flyweight, so he is going to be a little bit smaller in a lot of his fights, but he does have pretty good cardio. He's pretty durable too. He is getting up there in age. He's 37. He did fight Piotr Jan in his last fight. Didn't really look all that great, and this is kind of a tough fight for him as well. This is a very tough one for him again. I like Corey Sandhagen here. I'm a Figgy fan. Don't get me wrong. I am a Corey fan as well, but I usually back Figueiredo a lot, but I didn't against Jan, and I didn't last time against Moreno. And I'm not going to do it here. Got to go Corey here. I think he wins. I'll say by decision. I don't think there's going to be a finish in this fight. So maybe if you don't know who to pick or whatever, you can look at the overs. I like that. But give me Corey to win by decision. I just think he's going to outstrike him a little bit, maybe land the better shots. I think Figgy's going to have to use some wrestling to slow him down a little bit. But I don't think it's going to matter because Corey's cardio is very good. It's not going to death gas him. It might actually tire out Figgy more so trying to wrestle for 5 rounds instead of tiring out Corey. So that's another thing too. So I've seen Figgy slow down a bit more so than Corey in fights. I'll take Corey by decision. Thank you very much. But yeah, that is it, boys and girls. Thank you everybody for watching, and on your way out, please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. Comment below on some of your favorite fights that you like, how well you did last week, anything like that. I always try to respond to everybody. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/JohnnyKpicks. You can find all my early UFC content. We just started up a UFC Survivor pool. Unfortunately, you can't join until the next season. But if you want to next season, go ahead and just sign up right now. Sign up. You can become a member, or you can become a free member. At least you can play either way next time. But what else do I got? UFC cheat sheets. I also do other bets too if you're interested in that. So definitely join up. Defend your units Wednesday night. We'll have a special guest on. We're going to restart the easy money and beer money parlay streaks again. And that's all I got for you. So again, like I said, thank you for watching. Good luck on your picks. Good luck on your bets. Let's keep the streak going. And until next time, happy fight night.